we're in a 2008 Shelby GT500. This has 22,000 original miles on it and is 100% bone stock. And one more special little tidbit about it, it's my personal car. But if you've been on this channel before, you already knew that. So I just got the car a couple weeks ago and I figured it'd be a great time to give you a review on it. How it drives, performance, and what it's like to actually daily drive it. Yes, I daily drive the car. I know there's a lot of purists that are gonna hate me for it. Don't rip me apart in the comments, too bad. But if you can't enjoy the car for what it was built for, why buy it? So let's just run down the factory specs real quick. Ford says 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. Quarter mile is in the mid 12s at 114 miles an hour. That is pretty good, especially considering this is 2008, and back in 2008 there was not a whole lot out there to compete with this, except the Corvette. That was pretty much it, and it was running with the Corvette. So that's really impressive. Obviously, Shelby GT500, it is the Halo Mustang. Shelby's a legend, he's an automotive icon, and he always wanted to push that performance envelope. So when you drive a Shelby, you know it's going to perform well, and you also feel like you're driving a piece of automotive history. Now personally, I'm a huge fan of this particular body style, the 07 through 09s. I think they're some of the best looking Shelbys out there. And what makes them extra special is that he was still alive to test drive them, to head the project, to give his approval on everything. And that, I feel, really does add a little extra wow factor to this generation. He did obviously still have a hand in the 10s, 11s, 12s, and even 13s, but that was pretty much the last of them. I feel like this is the last of what I'm going to call the raw Mustang. There's not a lot of electronics to it. There's not a lot of stability control or traction control. You have a very primitive traction control button, and when it's off, everything is up to you. Oh my God, that is fast. That is really fast. Oh, you hear that blower whine. It is so exhilarating. Oh my gosh. The Brembo brakes work really good as well. They don't have a lot of really hard initial bite, but when they bite really hard. Whoa. This car, it is incredible. So that 500 horsepower, 480 pound-feet of torque, and this thing rips. I know some people say it doesn't really handle well because of the weight distribution. Could it be better? Yes. But it actually handles pretty good. I can't complain. The turn-in is tight, it's crisp, it's direct. The braking is really good. I've got no complaints. So speaking of the weight and handling, it does come in at a little over 3,900 pounds, and I think 57% of that weight is over the front end. Cast iron block, cast iron heads, plus the weight of the supercharger, it does get a little heavy. But I think it still does pretty well. Stock tires are 255 45/18s up front and 285 40/18s in back. Now these are not the factory tires, these are upgraded to Michelin Pilot Super Sport AS3 Plus tires, which really handle well. As far as the interior is concerned, I know a lot of people have a problem with the interior of this generation. They say it's a little dated, and okay, maybe it is. But it's still 2008. And, oh, railroad tracks. That actually handles this really well. So anyway, yeah, back to the interior. The steering wheel, I really like the steering wheel. It's leather wrapped. It's got nice 10 and 2 notches, nice 9 and 3 grip. It's got really cool red stitching to match the exterior of the car. I really like it. The dash pad's leather wrapped. I mean, it's just a really nice place to be. I mean, there is a few hard plastics in areas that, you know, you're probably not going to touch anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But when you see that snake on the center of the steering wheel and the Shelby dash plaque, it just reminds you that you're in a special car. The seats are another thing that I'm heavily impressed with. These things are so comfortable. Heavily bolstered, very soft. I mean, I could take a road trip in this car, no problem. One more time. And Brembo brake test. Yep. This car is impressive. This car is really impressive. Ooh, stepped out a little bit. The car has so much torque from the supercharger down low that it pulls out of the turn so well. It has a power rack and pinion steering, unlike the newer electric ones, and you can really feel what the front tires are doing. You have a really good sense of connection with the car and what it's doing on the road. Oof. Just a little blip of the throttle is all you need. Oh my God, this car is so much fun. I cannot express how much fun this car is. And big hill, downshift. Brakes. Brembo brakes do really good. The only complaint I have about those is they leave a lot of brake dust on your wheels. I think with a little bit of suspension work, this could be a really incredible back road car. That's probably one of the first things I'm going to go do to it. So lowering springs, some control arms, and probably an adjustable panhard bar. Next, after that, I'm definitely going to have to do something about this shifter. This is sloppy. It's got a lot of play in it. It's not very confidence inspiring. I mean, it does the job. It's not the worst shifter I've ever used, so I think that's going to have to get upgraded as well. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I do daily drive it, so comfort is important. And like I said before, it is a comfortable car. I even put my 2 daughters in the back. I took the seats out for this review, but normally I have 2 kid seats in the back. So anyone who was wondering, yes, you can fit kid seats in the back of a GT500. Would I put adults back there? No. Oh, that whine. The gearing in this car is pretty long. It's got 331 gears, but that's not bad for boost. It may not be great for naturally aspirated, but in boost applications, it keeps you in boost longer. So it actually helps out, because every time you shift, obviously, you're going to drop off boost for a second. I wanted to do this review now because it is completely stock, and I do plan on doing some mild modifications to it, and I wanted to get a feel for what it is completely stock. When you do mod these cars, they respond so well. I mean, these things are ridiculous. With a quarter intake in the tune, you can pick up 60 to 70 rear wheel horsepower. In stock trim, I have seen dyno sheets that range pretty widely from, we'll say, 420 to 450 at the rear tires. With the intake in the tune, you can get about 500 at the rear tires. And that's before other little mods like an X-pipe or pulleys. So let's think about this for a minute. This thing's 2008, it's 12 years old, 500 horsepower back then, which is absolutely astonishing. And with a couple tweaks, this thing can run with cars today. That's impressive. The driving experience in this car is very unique because you get so many looks, waves, thumbs up. I mean, you really do feel like you're in something very special, and it's pretty cool. So if you want to follow along on the build of this particular car, make sure you drop a like on the video. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next upload.